minus 10 minutes. Minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. minus 5 minutes. T minus for minutes. T minus 3 minutes. T minus 2 minutes. T minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Oh, boy, I'm going to tell you what. I'm ready to have fun for the next 2 hours, and I hope you are too. It's the RP Show coming at you on the Game Plus Television Network. We got something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. In a second, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm live at the Golden Ticket Sports Center. Jim Barker coming up later on in the program in hour 2. It's a Football Friday. You've all been waiting for it all week. We got a very special co-host today. The Moose is still at the Jeux Canada Games in St. John's, Newfoundland. And Joe Gunnis joins us from the Ratio podcast. He's the business manager of the RP Show. And Joe, which one are you? Are you the old, new, borrowed, something blue? Which are you of those four?
Definitely old.
and new. I know you're ready.
New.
Yeah, new to the RP Show. Joe Gunnis is going to ride shotgun with me for the first 40 minutes, everybody. Joe, you ready to talk some football, which I know is your number one sport?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go. Quick six show horn. We're jumping right into the pool. And we've got something on all levels of football today, everybody. But we're going to open with Thursday night in the Canadian Football League. We've got NFL on the way, a lot of it. But we're going to open with the CFL because we are in Canada. It's Canada's daytime sports talk show. Now, it was in Montreal. Canadian running back Brady Oliveira led the charge as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers handed the injury-plagued Montreal Alouettes their fourth consecutive loss, 26-13 at Percival Molson Stadium last night. The reigning CFL MVP, Brady Oliveira, gave Winnipeg a 23-13 lead with a 3-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter. He totaled 137 rushing yards, 73 in the air. On 9 receptions. So, listen, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the Bombers winning at Montreal, Joe, because it was a distant fourth in our poll of Canada's game of the week. I've got more exciting things to talk about than that game. However, and I told you I wanted to talk about this with you, things are turning at the midway point of the season. The Bombers are getting hot, and the Alouettes have lost 4 in a row. See how things change over the course of a season?
Yeah, definitely. I think last night I thought Morgan looked okay, for a young quarterback, but it just goes to show you that this league, you need a positive quarterback, somebody that's got the experience and can lead your team. And I think that's where Collaros coming back obviously showed the difference in that game with his veteran status.
Joe's talking about Captain Morgan, the quarterback for the Alouettes, who is the fourth quarterback can't even remember his first name, but he looked the part. Captain Morgan looked the part for Montreal standing back in the pocket, but it was his very first pro start. Who thought that they were going to win? I'll tell you what. Do you think the Montreal Alouettes are regretting letting go Cody Fajardo in the offseason?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, when you look at, you got rid of your veteran presence, you got rid of a guy that bleeds football, that lives it. I mean, it's tough to replace that no matter what.
Now, this dawned on me either this morning or last night. I can't remember. I'm like, I'll save it for the show. I was going to throw it on Facebook or throw it on Twitter. Do the Alouettes regret getting rid of Cody Fajardo? Now, having said that, I'm being a bit of a numpty by saying that, because so they went with Davis Alexander over Cody, and in the Alouettes' favor, because I like Danny Machocha and Jason Moz a lot, they were like, hey, we can't have this. We can't have the veteran guy and Cody Fajardo around, which in retrospect, honestly, actually in retrospect, that was their thinking at the time, but Cody goes to Edmonton, and he's the older statesman there behind Trey Ford, and lo and behold, he's starting there. Like, let's dig into that a little more. Do you think the Alouettes are literally second-guessing that decision now? Because I'm pretty sure Cody would have stayed. He's a pretty humble guy.
Yeah, I think they have to be. I mean, if you look at the teams that are doing well, they've got 2 solid quarterbacks, right? And you notice the difference when Vernon Adams went down in Calgary, all those things, right? All of a sudden the team starts to struggle a little bit. So you need to have veteran quarterbacks. You also need somebody to take the young quarterback and mentor them, right? And who better to do that than a guy like Cody Fajardo with all of his success? And he's been through some troubles too, right? And dealt with them all. So, I mean, again, so many points that he can give to these young quarterbacks. So to not have him in the locker room, not have his presence, not all of that, I think is definitely a second guess. I think is a mistake personally.
As do I, but Jeff the Stamps fan makes a really good point. He says, with hindsight, they regret it, but only due to injuries. To be honest, yours and my great friend Jim Hobson said it many times, president of the Rough Riders in the good old days. It was, we made the decision with the information we had at the time. You can't argue that either. You know, before we go any further, for everybody that just tuned on their television here, Game Plus, and we're going to be breaking in 2 minutes and delve into a lot of more football things. So Joe Gunnis is our business manager. He's my business manager for many, many years. I can't believe he stayed with me this long. And Joe, you host the Ratio podcast. Just tell us about you and Craig of the Ratio podcast. You're no stranger to talking football.
Yeah, for a number of years we did our podcast and centered it around the CFL. That's what we grew up with. That's what we love. Not to despair the NFL or anything like that, but that's what we did, and so we had a lot of fun with it while we were doing it, for sure.
So Joe Gunnis not only is the business guy, but he's no stranger to talking football, host of the Ratio podcast. Okay, listen. So enough about that game from last night. James Morgan's the name? Okay. I know it's insulting to not remember the kid's first name, but it's just, I'm old. Got a lot of things on my mind. But Cody Fajardo and Edmonton are at Ottawa tonight. We'll talk about that after the break. Here's one, Joe. Before we go to break, I want people to ponder this. I opened the game notes this morning for the Stampeders Rough Riders game. One sentence stuck out, stood out, and I'm like, this could carry us for 2 hours. Here's the factoid. The Saskatchewan Rough Riders have never, in their history, been 9-1. Never! So if they win at Calgary Saturday night, they'll be 9-1. Are they the best Rough Riders team ever?
Hashtag debate.
Oh, yeah, well, I threw it on Facebook already, and people's heads are popping off about it. And from the ridiculous to the sublime, as my old news director Greg Bonnet used to say. But in less than a minute, how would you answer that question?
I don't know that we can say greatest of all time quite yet, but at 9-1, that's a huge mark to be. And obviously, you know, they've got the infrastructure in place there with Corey Mace that it could go way higher than that as well.
One sentence is all I needed to read. Slam my laptop closed. Oh, we're good. That's what we'll be debating today on the show. You can vote on our Instagram poll as well. We do have another interesting poll question that we'll get to after this break. We're just getting rolling, everybody. Fill up your coffee. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, all major podcast platforms, and Mission Radio, 1700 AM.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Nazareth's Canadian Farewell Tour is coming to Moose Jaw. Live at Temple Garden Center, October 17th. With special guest, Lee Aaron. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or sasktix.ca.
Welcome back, everybody. Football Friday, Hour 1 is brought to you by the Mad Greek Eatery for legendary ribs, delicious pizza, and late-night bites. It's the Mad Greek Eatery, open until 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in at themadgreekeatery.com. Joe Gunnis is with us from the Ratio Podcast. He's also our business manager. I got things about that I want to talk to Joe about, but to the audience, BW writes in from Edmonton. He says, you're back on AM radio again, Rod? I missed a couple of shows and you miss out. Yes, 1700 AM, Auburn, Alabama. Ryan O'Radio, who was behind WQEE back in the day. He's got a new station in Auburn, Alabama. They love the football talk, and actually probably going to bring Ryan O'Radio on the air soon, maybe even next week. Before we turn to the NFL and then back to tonight's CFL game and the weekend games, I'm just going to say this again, Joe. It's got everybody's head popping off. Like, how did people not see this? I never thought about the Rough Riders being 8-1, and they've never been 9-1. Does this make them the best team in Rider history? Carlos in Indianapolis writes it. He says, check back Thanksgiving weekend about this Riders being the best team in history. That's Grey Cup Sunday, by the way. Before I should pump the brakes on this. This is a rhetorical question almost. If they don't win a championship, even get to the Grey Cup, they're not even in the conversation, right?
Not in the conversation at all. No, I think you got to win a championship for sure. I mean, if you go 9-1 or even better than that, you still got to win the championship, because at the end of the day, why are you playing? That's why you're playing.
Right. And so there are people that are writing in, and I'm pretty sure that I've got this correctly, but it's in the game notes. They've never been 9-1. And just so you know, the CFL game notes are never wrong. You can bang on the Canadian Football League for a lot of things. That's not one of them, okay? Steve Daniel and their PR department never get these things wrong. So don't come at me saying, oh, no, it would just tie a team. No, please shut your pie hole. Now, we've talked a lot of CFL in the opening segment. Talked about tonight's game, Edmonton and Ottawa. We'll come back on all of that. But for the National Football League, there were two games last night. Skylar Thompson completed 11 of 13 passes for 152 yards, including a 24-yard touchdown pass to Lance McCutcheon. And rookie Ben Sauls kicked 4 field goals as the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Carolina Panthers 19-10. And in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Cam Scatabo saw his first game action for New York, and Jackson Dart had an eventful preseason finale by throwing a touchdown pass and clearing concussion protocol following a big hit, with reserves playing much of a 42-10 rout of New England. Look, the Montreal-Winnipeg CFL game wasn't really enthralling me, and the Bombers put it to bed in the third quarter. So I flipped over to the NFL game, Joe, which was on TSN. And I'm texting back and forth with my guy. You've heard me talk about him, Chris from the Bronx. Chris Sanford, biggest Giants fan that I know. I'm like, hey, your G-men are looking good. Tommy Cutlets is on fire. Saw him throw a touchdown pass on that 42-10 route. This number 23 running back, I don't know who he is. He's making me forget about Saquon Barkley. Maybe he will for Giants fans. And then I'm like, whoa, it's still preseason. So let's scrap all of that. We all get so horny about what we see in the preseason games and then realize come regular season, we don't even see these guys again. But let me ask you this, as the football guy that you are, what in the NFL preseason what are you watching for and what stuck out to you?
Well, I think you always got to watch out for those diamonds in the rough. The players that have that great preseason game. I thought, Jackson Dart did a great job for New York, and I think that he's a diamond in the rough. Obviously, you're not going to displace the incumbent, but I mean, they need to build on something there too. And I think he looked athletic. He has a great arm. And that type of thing. So those are the things that I look at in a preseason game is who's standing out. Is there a running back? Is there a defensive lineman? Is there somebody that's standing out, especially rookie wise, that isn't going to probably play much during the year, but in 2 years from now, he could be the guy that's holding all the records, right? So I think that's the important thing is to see who's standing out in those games.
Speaking of NFL, join us at Pump Jack's Cathedral in Regina for our NFL kickoff party Thursday, September 4th for the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. Be watching for details on how you can be a part of it. Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Joe and I will be there. Billy's going to be there from the Ultimate Fan Zone, putting up prizing for the event from the National Football League. That's at Pump Jack's Saloon. And speaking of the Cowboys, oh, my God, Joe, I don't know what your morning's been like, but my timeline, my computer's been full of the latest drama out of Dallas. Micah Parsons has turned down an offer from the Cowboys to be the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history because he said it's more than money. Jerry Jones, who we all know Jerry, he doesn't need any introduction. He was on the Michael Irvin podcast. I'm not sure if you saw that clip, but he says, yeah, we talked to Micah's agent, and he told us we can stick our offer up our ass. We just do it a little differently in Dallas. After watching that documentary, America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, what, as a non-Cowboys fan that you are, what is your take on the Cowboys?
Well, I'll tell you one thing is Jerry Jones isn't going to do anything that Jerry Jones doesn't want to do, and he doesn't care about the cost from what I'm seeing as we're watching this Netflix series. So, with this whole Parsons deal, I mean, Parsons can be as upset as he wants or say what he wants or this is how it's going to go. And Jerry Jones is going to do what Jerry Jones wants to do, good, bad, or otherwise for the team, himself, or anything. You're not going to get the wiggle room or force him to do anything he doesn't want to do. And unfortunately, that does hurt the team. And I mean, obviously, the team needs to be successful again soon. Right? Like, I mean, all the money in the world, all the fans in the world, they still want to see championships, right? And he needs to build a championship team soon.
Well, right now, I'll tell you that our poll question is that today, and it's brought to you by EMJ Marketing, expert voices, impactful messages. Discover the perfect speaker at EMJ Marketing. Go to their website at emjmarketing.com for more information. The question is, have you watched the Dallas Cowboys documentary on Netflix? And I'll be honest with you, if people say, no, I don't, fine, but everybody is talking about it. When I say I open up my phone, a computer, it's everything. It's whether what was said in that show or what's going on now with Micah Parsons and his holdout. I mean, if you're Jerry, you're sitting there going, I just offered you the biggest contract in NFL history for a non-quarterback. But I don't think Jerry doesn't like to hand out dough. We saw that in that, but he's willing to overpay for Micah. But here's the thing, and we'll get back to, I guess this is football, but you say he's not going to do what he doesn't want to do. I don't think he wanted to make him that offer, but he made him the offer. And Micah Parsons, what he's upset about, Joe, is dirty dealings that nobody sees. Like for instance, if Micah Parsons' agent did legitimately say to Jerry, shove your offer up your ass, why should we know that? Why can't you, Jerry, keep that in-house? Like, would you like to do negotiating with Jerry Jones? I wouldn't.
It might be kind of fun on one respect, but no, at the end of the day, I don't want to have a negotiation is just that, and it should be in-house, and all those things should be in-house, right? Because tensions can get high, things can get said that shouldn't be said, but to throw them all out in the media is ridiculous, right? Get your dealings done in-house, keep it in-house, keep it professional, because everybody keeps saying, we want to have a professional team. We want to be professional. We want to do all this stuff. And then all of a sudden we go to social media and we drag everybody through the mud. What for? I just don't get it. It's wrong.
And that's my point, is Jerry, he's incapable of coloring within the lines or following the rules. Jerry, why can you not keep that in-house? Because he doesn't care. So anyways, regarding that documentary, Shai writes in, he says, why would any Eagles fan watch a documentary on a losing team? Because nobody cares about your crappy Eagles, Shai. That's why. Nobody would watch a show about the Eagles. Everybody's talking about the Dallas Cowboys. So anyways, a little bit of what's going on there. Close to 70% of respondents are saying no, they are not watching the Cowboys documentary. But like anything Cowboys related, eventually you will. Because the hype is getting to be too much. 902-518-3033. We'll come back on the NFL in a second. What's that, Joe? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you got to watch it. It is absolutely fantastic. The behind the scenes, the people they have on it, the stuff you learn that you had no idea about, not only about Cowboys, but NFL, other teams, including the 49ers, and then some. I mean, worth a watch.
Joe Gunnis riding shotgun with us from the Ratio podcast, and my personal business manager. Viewers had asked for us to get Joe on, and so he's on, and as predicted, he's not letting us down. As a matter of fact, Laverne in Swift Current is keeping track of our analysts' picks on this. He says, do we have Joe's pick for a surprise team in the NFL this year? I didn't prep you for that. I apologize, but off the top of your head, who do you think is going to surprise? Either in a good way or a bad way this year.
I'm going to go with the Commanders. I think they're going to surprise us in a good way this year.
Well, they were the surprise team last year, so you're saying they're going to go even higher.
I really do think so, yeah. That would be
okay, there you go, Laverne. There's a new one off the board, Laverne, and I appreciate you chiming in on that. There's some consternation, if I'm using the proper term, on this stat that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have never been 9-1. So I'm going to have to go back in the break and reread it, but I'm pretty damn sure in the game notes that it says they've never been 9-1. Daryl is watching in Calgary, Alberta. Daryl Slade, Stampeders historian, and he writes in on the Western Dodge text line. Thank you for watching, Daryl, on Game Plus TV. He says, I agree. For the Roughriders to be considered great, they must win a Grey Cup this year. The Stampeders started 10-0 in 1993 and finished 15-3 that year. And the next 2 years, no Grey Cup win, one visit in 1995, losing to Baltimore. It is, oh my God, such a fascinating debate, Joe. And I'll get into this with Jim Barker when he joins us next hour too. What's fascinating about it is, do you really empty the tank? Do you just whip your horses into the ground trying to get the most wins, like the 1989 Edmonton Eskimos that went 16-2 and then soiled themselves in the West Final? Like, where do you, because I look at the Florida Panthers and Paul Maurice for the last 2 months last year, I was there, rested his guys. And people are like, what are you doing? Tampa Bay surpassed them in the standings, blah, 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 and they went on to win the Stanley Cup. He didn't care about the record. And you're a coach, by the way, you're a high-level coach. Go ahead.
It's about the championship, and that's the important thing, right? Whether you finish 8-8 or you finish, different, different level, it's still got to win the championship to be successful.
Gary in Winnipeg writes in on the Western Dodge text line, and he says, history teaches us many lessons. In 05, the BC Lions started the season 11-0. They ended the regular season 1-6 and losing in the West Final. Don't count your eggs before they're hatched, as far as the Riders are concerned. Signed, Gary from Winnipeg, the old fart. But here's the thing. You can't blame the Riders. They're just going out and kicking everybody's ass. What did Michael Irvin say in that documentary? I had a degree at Miami, a degree in whooping ass. That's what the Riders are doing every week. That's all you can ask them to do. They're not doing anything wrong, but you're right. You and anybody that's saying they got to win a championship, I can't name 5 of them. I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. So that's why it was just a little astounding to say that they're even in the conversation of the greatest Rough Riders team ever, and I can't name 5 of them. We'll be right back. We're live on the Game Plus television network, streaming on all major podcast platforms and 1700 AM Mission Radio.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
I hope you are all having a fantastic day. I can tell you I am. Ready for the weekend, though. It is a football Friday, and that makes it a very special day. Joe Gunnis is with us from the Ratio Podcast and just doing a hell of a job. Already, Joe, it's the final segment with you. See how fast this goes? But I should mention this. Joe's the man behind this. Be part of the team. Grab your RP Show merch now at rodpeterson.com. Click on RP Store. I'm modeling it today on the show. Joe, tell the folks what they need to know and what they can purchase in the store.
For sure. We actually got our first order the other day, so thank you very much. It's exciting stuff that we have the store back up and running. And I mean, you can get hoodies, T-shirts, hats, tumblers, all sorts of things. And we're going to continue to add to our list as well as we go. So exciting stuff. So check it out. Just go to rodpeterson.com and click on the RP store.
Rep the show, everybody. We appreciate you for doing that. It's a football Friday. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line. So here, this isn't even clarification. From the CFL game notes, the Riders' 8-1 record matches their best start in franchise history in 2013. In all of club history back to 1936, they have not had a 9-1 start. So whoever's trying to start something, stop it. Now, we'll get to that game Saturday in the Foothills, Joe, and I think it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to watch it on television. No, I ain't going. But there's a game tonight. The Edmonton Elcamos at the Ottawa Red Blacks. Because, listen, I can find something interesting about any game. I really can. But this one tonight, anytime Cody Fajardo plays, I'm excited to watch my guy play. But it's not going to be easy. And I haven't done picks, but what's your take on this one tonight, Edmonton at Ottawa? Huge game for both.
Well, that's what I think the biggest take is that, I mean, this game, whoever wins it, I mean, puts themselves in a much better spot to get a playoff berth, right? So, I mean, Edmonton's starting to surge. They're starting to rally around Fajardo. I think Bob Dice is getting his troops in order for so to speak as well. So, I think it's going to be a tough game. But the implications of the win here for whichever team does, which I think it will be Edmonton, will definitely jump up in the standings and it could make a huge difference moving forward. So, I would have picked this as Canada's game of the week, to be honest.
It's big. It's big. But I don't think it's Canada's game of the week. By the way, if you don't mind, you know how we do things on the RP show, Joe. We sprinkle in the questions from the viewers as we go. BW in Edmonton says, how much is shipping for RP show stuff?
Right now, we have a standard rate of $20 for shipping, and we'll adjust as we can. Unfortunately, shipping is always an issue right now with everything going on. So we try to do a flat rate and the best rate we can.
There you go, everybody. By the way, Billy, we were talking about shipping the other day when we were visiting Ultimate Fan Zone here in Moose Jaw, which is the greatest sports merchandise store available and open on the planet as far as I'm seeing. You don't need to dick around with tariffs and stuff with what he's got going on there. Ultimate Fan Zone is on board with the RP show. Bomber Boy writes in, and I'm going to have to push a lot of these comments to the next segment once Joe adjourns because I don't want to waste Joe's time. But Bomber Boy writes in, he says, hey, Rod, when are you starting a podcast for the Cowboys and Dolphins? You could call it The Fins and the Never Wins. Bump would have been the old one. Just before I left Florida in the springtime, I was having pizza with a guy some of you may know, Jeff Rimmer, the original ever voice of the Florida Panthers, and then he spent 20 years voice of the Columbus Blue Jackets. We were out for lunch at a pizza place, and he's like, you should start a football podcast down here. The Hurricanes and the Dolphins. You'd be great. That'd be fantastic. That will get your foot in the door here in football. I'm like, Jeff, thanks, but I am not starting a football podcast in Florida. There's 10,000 guys doing football podcasts in Florida. And by the way, 10,000 doing it better. We're doing just fine with the Panthers and the Lightning podcast. Doing really great, and I'm excited to get back and fire that back. But thank you. And thank you, Bomber Boy, but I'm not doing a football podcast in Florida. That would be the stupidest thing to do. Now, to weekend NFL stuff and CFL as well. Let's stay on the CFL game for a second. Then I have some football NFL-related notes to ask you. Stamps Riders, I should not just arrogantly think the Riders are going to roll into McMosaic Stadium and roll and motorboat the Stampeders. These guys, Joe. Although I do kind of think they will. Let me look up the point spread. What do you think's going to go down there Saturday night at McMahon?
Well, the big thing now is that the Riders have a target on their back, right? I mean, they're looking like the best team in the CFL. They're playing like the best team in the CFL. So now the real challenge is all these other teams are jumping up to say, "Hey, we want to beat the best team in the CFL." So I mean, it puts another level. I mean, you've got a healthier Calgary that's playing well as too, and so I think it's going to be a tough game. And to be honest with you, I know that I'll be ostracized for this, but I see the Stamps winning this game. So,
well, by the way, our picks weekly are for Pump Jacks Cathedral and Pump Jacks Weyburn. You can go to rodpeterson.com and have a look at them. They're actually not my picks; they're from the Canadian Press, but I post them and everybody thinks they're mine. But What I'm on Odds Shark. I just very quickly typed in CFL point spread. First thing that came up was Odds Shark. And this was fun when we played it with Moose, right? And we may do it once the NFL season starts, deal or no deal, where I give the point spreads on NFL games and Moose decides if he's going to take the bet or not. But Odds Shark has Saskatchewan favored by, how much do you think Sask is favored by? And just so you know, I don't go along with what they have here.
I would imagine probably 20, 30 points, probably.
No, one. 1 point. To be honest, I wouldn't have said 20, 30. I probably would have said 6 at the absolute most. And let me make it very clear, I don't bet on football, just so you all know. But Sask is favored by 1. In the Braley Bowl, earlier in the day, the BC Lions at Toronto. The Lions are favored by 3 at Toronto as Nathan Rourke's getting rolling. And tonight in Ottawa, the Edmonton Elkamos and my guy Cody, they're favored by 1.5 versus Ottawa. We don't have a lot of time before the break here, but are you following the progress of Taylor Elgersma with the Green Bay Packers? I actually had Green Bay viewers writing me today asking if we would be talking about Taylor Elgersma from Wilfrid Laurier, right? Canadian quarterback down there. He's doing amazing things. Is that on your radar at all? It's a little bit on mine.
Yeah, I've read a little bit about it, and it's great to have it happen for him too, and that he's putting up a good showing. But I think he's probably got a lot of learning to do as well. So it'll be interesting to see the way that plays out.
He does have of course, he's got a lot of learning to do, but I think he's going to do it in Green Bay. I don't think he's going to get cut. I just, because Dean Tix is the viewer in Green Bay, by the way, and he asked me what I knew about Elgersma, and I'm like, what I know is from the moment Moose DuPont laid eyes on him last year for the very first time, Darren DuPont walked onto a field, I think it was at Wilfrid Laurier, and he's like, whoa, this guy has got it. And Darren's a football guy. He's got the eye. So I read this article, and Mike Miller is the Argonauts quarterbacks coach. He had been with the Arizona Cardinals for 7 seasons. He worked out Elgersma, and he's seen him play live, and he says this kid has, quote, Kurt Warner level intelligence. Taylor Elgersma.
That's huge.
Like, it
That's
doesn't
huge.
get much better praise than that, right? So, yeah, I'll be watching that from Green Bay. I don't think – you think we ever see him in the CFL?
Not if he stays on with Green Bay. I think it'll be lots of years before he goes CFL wise.
To be honest, I didn't think we'd ever see Nathan Rourke again either. So, as Gary Echeverry says, Joe, never's a long time. We've come to the end. We've come to the end of our time with you, Joe. Great job, buddy. Go have a great RP show afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Rod. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Joe Broken Toe from the Ratio Podcast. We'll be right back after this on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. Football Friday continues, and as I said earlier, I hope you're having as much fun as I am. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge in Moose Jaw. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. Lots of comments here. I wanted to get to a sports update, and I will, but when the comments come in, like Kenny writing in from Vancouver, writes in, he goes, hi, I got to read it. He goes, hi, Rod. I love your show. It's your pal, Kenny Collins from Vancouver. I got to finally see the new Mosaic Stadium in Regina last Saturday, and I saw our riders whoop Hamilton's butt. 19 years living in BC, and I absolutely love that stadium. Keep up the great work, Rod. Go Riders. That's my bud, Kenny Collins in Vancouver. Yeah, the Riders whooped the Ticats' ass 29-9 last week. I don't know what else to say about that. We had, here's funny, here's a good one for you. Jim Lawson, that dude is sharper than the edge of town. CEO, or whatever he is at Woodbine, executive chairman. I feel like he's not big on titles. He's just a guy that gets stuff done. Jim Lawson. He came on last week to preview the 166th running of the Queen's Plate, right? And he says to me, he emailed me after, I kind of would have liked to talk more about the Riders and Ticats, Rod. He's a co-owner of the Ticats. You want to come on and talk about it now, Jimbo? He was the chairman of the board of the CFL, and we always got along real good. He's cool. Paul in Winnipeg writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, Rod, the Bombers are not going to the Grey Cup. They've won a couple iffy games and have yet to play Saskatchewan and Hamilton. Well, hold on to your bingo card, Paul, for a second, and let's just see how Labor Day and the Banjo Bowl play out. Because now I've called 20 Labor Day Classics myself, and then was a fan for a couple decades even before that, or a decade or so before that. And it's pretty rare that the Riders and Bombers meet on Labor Day weekend and they're both good. It's rare. But that's what's happening this year. But that's next week. And yeah, I understand this business that Winnipeg's just barely winning games, but they are winning games. Imagine if they weren't. And they've been in the last 5. Do not discount the importance of experience. Graham writes in from Calgary. He says, my kids are all in Edmonton, but they love the underdog story. He says he's disappointed as a Calgarian that his kids are in Edmonton. But hey, you got to let them live their life, Graham. And I love what's the underdog story you're talking about? The Edmonton Elkimos themselves or Cody Fajardo? Like, the one thing about Cody, we have had these discussions, and it's kind of amazing because my last season with the Rough Riders was 2018. He didn't come till 2019. We never even worked together. Yet, we clicked away from the field, and because he has faith and is a man of God, yeah, he keeps getting kicked in the nuts, like all the time. Yet he keeps getting up, and he keeps persevering. That's a hell of a story. There's something in there for everybody. On the NFL vein, I love that Laverne and Swift Current is keeping track of all our NFL pundits and their surprise team picks. Thank you, Laverne, because I'm not going to do it. He has written in on the 902 text line. He says, for the record, Rod, here's updated NFL surprise team picks. Arash is going with New England and the Jets. Kenny Nagunt says Carolina. Coach Jim, the Price is Right, Barker, says the LA Chargers. Jersey Jim says the Raiders. Moose DuPont says the Raiders. Laverne and Shirley, where's Squiggy? Says the Bears. Tori Gurley says the LA Chargers. They've all said it on this show. Mo Egger has said the Patriots. RP has said the Raiders, as has John Ryan, who knows a thing or two about the NFL. And then Joe Gunnis today says the Washington Commanders. That's pretty all over the map, isn't it? And I'll tell you what, from what I saw last night, preseason, yes, and I get hooked into it too, but the Patriots did not look like anything special last night. Preseason. 902-518-3033. Empire. Sports update for Cool Bet Canada for the baseball fans. Shane Bieber is set to make his first start for the Toronto Blue Jays, and the baseball people are all fired up about this. as the American League Eastern leaders visit the Miami Marlins tonight. The Blue Jays acquired Bieber from Cleveland at the trade deadline. The 2020 American League Cy Young winner is coming back from Tommy John surgery and hasn't started a big league game since April 2nd, 2024. This is huge tonight, and I kind of wish I was there. But my peeps will have it covered just fine. Jays at Marlins tonight at Lone Depot Park in Miami. The arch-rival New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox continue a 4-game series tonight at Yankee Stadium. Boston won Thursday night's opener 6-3. That dropped the Yankees 4.5 behind Toronto for top spot in the American League East and bumped Boston to 5 games off the division lead. The NFL has increased security at its offices following a shooting last month at a Manhattan building by a gunman authorities say was targeting league headquarters. The league previously recommended enhanced security measures at team and league facilities. They'll be reviewed at a special league meeting on August 26th. NFL employees are back in their offices after working remotely in the weeks following the shooting that killed 4 people and injured an NFL employee. The father of Boston Celtics all-star Jaylen Brown was arrested in Las Vegas and charged with attempted murder after reportedly stabbing another man in a parking lot. Well, that's not nice. According to TMZ, Quentin M. Brown admitted dinging the victim's car with his door when he got out of his Lincoln Navigator. An argument ensued, and Brown stabbed the victim in the back and stomach. Court documents listed Brown as an inmate in the Clark County Detention Center on attempted murder charges. How about that? Here's one for you from a mental health professional right here. Anybody that is doing stuff like that, especially road rage, there's an underlying problem. He's not mad that his door got dinged. He wouldn't be happy about that, but yeah, there's some rage very not too far under the surface. That just brought it out. The sports headlines are for CoolBet Canada. Get a welcome bonus up to $200 with the promo code RP200 at coolbet.com. Why I go down that road is work on your underlying issues, and then little incidents like a door ding or road rage won't set you off and make you go stab somebody. For instance, maybe some of you see, I write little messages on my body every day. This is today's. Strong and happy. That's me. Every day. Doesn't hurt to remind yourself of these things. Strong and happy. 902-518-3033. Kirk writes in from Toronto, says, hey, Rod, who has more fun than us? That's the old line from the previous incarnation of this show. Thank you, Kirk, for remembering. Who has more fun than us? He says, with an expected season-high crowd at the 146th edition of the CNE against BC, that's Argos and Lions tomorrow, the food building permeating across BMO Field, Blue Rodeo playing after the game, and last but not least, the carnival atmosphere. Life is good. Pull together, Scullers. Oh, I love it. I love your attitude, Kirk. Told you, everybody is all not punchy today. Everybody's bouncing off the walls, getting ready for a big football weekend. I love it. I was at an event as a guest of former Rough Riders chairman Wayne Morski. It was a fundraiser. Believe in the Gold was what it was. And Jim Cuddy was singing at it, the lead singer of Blue Rodeo, who, let's be honest, has the voice of an angel. And I can't remember the guy's name because I'm not a rock music guy, but the lead singer of Bare Naked Ladies was singing at it as well. Oh my God. You know, I used to be a DJ. You'd think I would remember this. What is it when they have the instruments that aren't plugged in? Acoustics. All acoustics instruments. And it was a great night. Jim Cuddy, Blue Rodeo. When you get to see him at the Argo game tomorrow, everybody. You lucky beggars. Jeff the Stamps fan says, road rage. I had it the other day, momentarily trying to merge on Stony Trail behind someone merging at 50K. We all have our moments. John Ohm says, strong and happy. Like it, Rod. You can write a different message on there every day in case you need reminding. That's something I came up with on my own. Next hour, Jim Barker will be joining us and be talking about all of these things. We do have some very exciting broadcast news coming up. Corey, I think we're kind of leaving this up to you. When do you want to drop the news? Like today? Okay. Okay. I'll send Joe a message in the break and see if he's okay with it, because I don't like to go off script. Things have not gone well for me in life when I've gone off script. So I'll talk to Joe, because I'm busting to announce this. And maybe we'll do it off the top of hour 2. We'll be right back after this on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome inside, everybody. It is hour 2 of the RP show here on the Game Plus Television Network, and this is Ring the Bell worthy. Just hang on. I'm going to get to our very exciting news. I just want everybody to get settled in here and tell you that we've been having a tremendous football Friday today. Joe Gunnis was with us from the Ratio podcast in hour one, running through all these football topics on a really big football weekend. It's not the biggest of the year, but it's a big one. We got NFL, CFL going on. We've got college football starting up. We got university football going on, junior football. Yeah, well, here's the news. Producer Corey has given me the green light to drop as much as we can today. I'm cool with it. I've been wanting to announce it for weeks. And Joe, the third of our three musketeers, he's in a meeting, Corey. He's not available, so he's outvoted. How about that? Two of the three. Yeah, do it, Corey. Do it. Okay, beginning Monday, September the 29th, the Rod Pedersen Show, Hour 2, will be airing live on Fox 5 Las Vegas, the local Fox affiliate, the sports feed in Las Vegas, the Fox 5 Vegas sports feed. Do I have that right? Silver State Sports and Entertainment. Gotcha. I was just repeating it as you were saying it to me. Yeah, it is a mouthful, but as far as you all need to know, Fox 5 Las Vegas, beginning Monday, September the 29th. See ya, Jaron. Have a good weekend. At 6 p.m. Oh, it's at 6 p.m.? It's not live? Okay, it's all good. Either way, Monday, September 29th, we go to Fox 5 Vegas Sports Feed, 6 p.m. daily. So I don't need to tell you how excited everybody is around here, particularly Moose, because he's a big Vegas guy. Moose is, believe it or not, and he's like, Fox. He's like, that's Tom Brady. That's Joe Buck. I'm like, yeah, it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. Producer Corey Karlik from Skycron negotiated this deal. He said he's had it done and put to bed for quite some time now. And just in the break, he was saying that we would potentially be getting the guy that runs the whole show down there on the air to talk about it. So it's good. That's good. Okay, I get it. We'll try. But there will be a lot of Vegas Raiders talk, a lot more, a lot of Vegas Golden Knights talk, and whatever else will be on the air daily in Las Vegas, Fox 5 Vegas Sports Feed. But that doesn't change the Game Plus. Game Plus was cool with it. Our guys ran it through them, and thank you to all those guys there. And, of course, our RP Show staff. And then just this week, we started on 1700 AM Mission Radio USA, and the official call letters, WQVZ, and Ryan O'Radio has just written today, our old buddy from WQEE in Atlanta, where we aired for 5 years. He goes, RP Show with Rod and Crew is the best sports talk ever. And that's now airing out of Auburn, Alabama. So, yes, we're growing, but they love the CFL talk. They love the football talk. I think a lot of people like the life advice as well. And that's again, professional mental health coach over here. As I say, if you're running a little hot, the things that are bothering you, road rage is just that one thing that tips you over the edge for some people. So it's like if you can control the what's bubbling under the surface, then a little thing like that doesn't end up in somebody getting stabbed or somebody getting shot or somebody getting run off the road. That's all that I'm saying. And furthermore, as I dive back into the football talk here, and Jim Barker, if he's watching now or not, I'm not sure, but his daughter Holly is at the Bellagio. She's the pit boss there at the Bellagio. We have a lot of Las Vegas ties with this show. Holly's a friend of mine. Jim's a friend of mine. So it's a really big day for a lot of us here and a great day, and it feels good. And speaking of feeling good, watching the Dallas Cowboys documentary so far, the one on Netflix, has me feeling really good as a Cowboys fan because I'm 4 episodes in, and that's our poll question today. Are you watching it? Because everybody's talking about it. America's team, the gambler, and his Cowboys, the gambler being Jerry Jones. Now, 70% of you on our EMJ marketing poll saying you have not watched it. But I think within a couple of weeks' time, maybe even by Monday, I think those numbers will change a lot because you're going to want to see it. But through the first 4 episodes, the Cowboys are on the rise. I'm assuming, because I know how the story goes, the next 4, it's going to get ugly. My point is, watching those Cowboys documentaries, highlights of the old games, just makes me feel good. And I hope you watching this show or listening to this show, however you are enjoying it, makes you feel good for at least 2 hours out of the day in a crazy time in the world. Okay, so to the quick six show topics, re-upping on what we've been talking about so far. Week 12 in the CFL kicked off Thursday night, and Canadian running back Brady Oliveira led the charge as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers handed the injury-plagued Montreal Alouettes their fourth consecutive loss with a 26-13 win. The reigning CFL MVP, Oliveira, had over 200 combined yards, and it reminded me of what the old-timers told me about George Reed back in the day. The old-timers watching this show will remember. I don't, because he retired in 76. I wasn't watching the CFL then, but they said, everybody in the stadium knew George was getting the ball, and nobody could stop him. And that's Brady Oliveira for you right now in this era of CFL football. That was the first topic. We'll come back to CFL in a second. Point two was NFL preseason play last night in Charlotte. Skylar Thompson completed 11 of 13 passes for 152 yards, including a 24-yard touchdown strike to Lance McCutcheon, and rookie Ben Sauls kicked 4 field goals as the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Carolina Panthers 19-10. And in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Cam Scatabo saw his first game action for New York, and Jackson Dart had an eventful preseason finale by throwing a touchdown pass and also cleared concussion protocol following a big hit, with reserves playing much of a 42-10 rout of New England. And that's the thing. The CFL game had been put to bed well by the fourth quarter, so I flipped over to that game, which was also on one of the TSN channels, and I'm just watching the Giants motorboat the Patriots. And I'm texting my friend Chris from the Bronx, biggest Giants fan I know. I'm saying, hey, Tommy Cutlets is on fire. Who's this number 23, the back? Making us all forget about Saquon Barkley. And then I'm like, oh, it's preseason. It's backups versus backups. But I will tell you, Mike Vrabel will not be very happy, backup or not, with how his defense played in that game last night because they quit. Speaking of the National Football League, join us at Pump Jacks Cathedral in Regina for our NFL kickoff party Thursday, September 4th for Cowboys at Eagles. Be watching for details on how you can be part of it. Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. We're going to have some VIPs there and some sponsors. Billy from Ultimate Fan Zone. I will be personally chauffeuring him to the event. The newest star of the RP show, Joe's going to be there. I heard a rumor producer Corey might be there. It's going to be big fun. Okay, Corey's going to be there too. He's coming after jiu-jitsu. Okay, hopefully you kick somebody's butt before you come over. I'm just checking on the... Rich in Edmonton says, I come for the sports talk. I stay for RP's life advice. Thank you, Rich. Kind of reminds me of the speech by Pacino in Any Given Sunday when he says, I have made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. But what are you going to do? Learn from it. Yeah, Corey's not middle-aged yet. He's working on. He's still got some time to go. A few more bad decisions to go, Corey. Rich also says, road rage can be a common theme for my downtown to St. Albert commute, but I keep the Kramer mantra of serenity now. Serenity now. It helps. It helps. Back on point here, if we ever were on point. 902-518-3033. Devin writes in from Burns Lake, BC. He goes, what a game. The next 2 weeks are going to be a couple of burners. Get your combines ready. Oh, they're ready. They're out in the field already. Oh, and it was Laverne in Swift Current writes in. I was going to get to that. Laverne writes, Bieber's back. Former Cy Young winner set for the Blue Jays debut tonight for Shane Bieber. I read that in my sports update for Cool Bet Canada last hour. Probably will slip on over with my remote control to catch that game. but there's a lot on the tube tonight as we continue in the Quick Six show topics. Point 3, the Edmonton Elkamos look to make it 3 straight wins when they visit the Ottawa Redblacks in CFL play tonight. Edmonton coming off wins over Montreal and Toronto in the past 2 weeks and trying to inch closer to the BC Lions for 4th in the West. Ottawa has lost 4 of its last 6 entering the contest. So, by the way, with the news from last hour, or I guess at the top of this hour, that we're going to Fox 5 Vegas sports feed, 6 p.m. nightly, I'm fiddling with this notion, and we'll probably do it because it's the Rod Pedersen show. I get to make all content decisions. I think what we're going to do is go hour 1, all Canadian sports topics, hour 2, all U.S. sports topics. It should be good for everybody. Right? Corey, you're good with that? Corey says, perfect. Yeah, that's what they want, right? So what that should do is for all of our audience, you'll know to come here at noon Eastern, 10 a.m. Mountain. We're going to be talking CFL, Canadian NHL teams, U Sports football, if we will, whatever it is. Hour 1. And then in hour 2, I'll prepare you. It'll be National Football League, National Hockey League, a lot of Golden Knights. We'll slip some Panthers in there. MLB, because Vegas is going to be an MLB city before too long. So hour 1, Canadian sports, hour 2, U.S. sports. And I love that Corey and I are on the same page with that because we never talked about it until just now. Funny how that works. It's all good. Point 4 of the Quick Six is NFL. Oh, I want you to marinate on this, Jim Barker, if he's watching. Is he logged in yet, Corey? Okay. It's 11:11 Mountain, 1:11 Eastern. Do the Montreal Alouettes regret tying a can to Cody Fajardo? That was a topic from 1 hour ago that I would like to revisit with Jim Barker, which, by the way, Coach, since you are watching, it'll be a lot more NFL talk with Coach Barker beginning September 29th in hour 2, but we will obviously mix in CFL as well because that's his jam and mine, but just a lot more NFL as we debut on Fox 5 Las Vegas sports feed Monday, September 29th. NFL tonight, 4 games. The Eagles at the Jets, the Falcons at the Cowboys, the Vikings at the Titans, and the Bears at the Chiefs. That's what's going on tonight, 4 NFL games. So, again, the remote control is going to be hot. Point 5, the Toronto Blue Jays, as mentioned, are back in action tonight when they visit the Miami Marlins for the opener of a 3-game set. Shane Bieber set to make his first start for the Jays after being acquired at the trade deadline from Cleveland. We all know his story. 2020 American League Cy Young Award winner coming back from Tommy John surgery. Hasn't pitched in the majors since April of 2024. But if this all works out according to plan, he could be the guy, the thing that puts the Blue Jays over the top for a World Series title. Please, baby, baseball Jesus, let that be the case. 902-518-3033. Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba writes, and he says, hey, Rod, I thought I would share my favorite George Reed quote. An interviewer asked why George walked so slowly back to the huddle. George responded, I get paid to run the other way. George had a lot of great lines. A lot of great lines. My dad and him ended up in the hospital together. They were both rehabbing injuries. And they clicked fast. My dad in the G unit. That's not shocking for anybody that knows those two. But why are we talking about George Reed, number 3, 4? Because like Brady Oliveira, I don't think their style is the same at all. But as I said earlier, the old-timers say this about George Reed. Everybody in the park knew he was getting the ball, and nobody could stop him when the game was on the line and they needed yards and run out the clock, and that's what the Bombers have in Brady Oliveira. It's pretty awesome. Oh, and by the way, how the hell did I just get to this? The game notes, I only needed one sentence from the game notes. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have never in their history been 9-1. Never. But if they win in Calgary on Saturday, they will be And is this team the best Rough Riders team ever? The weird part of that is I can barely name 5 of them. So you think Austin, Durant, Jurison, Elgard, Aldag. We can name the damn roster from 1989. They were only 9-9. These guys could tie that win record by before Labor Day. Who are these guys? Well, they could be the first 9-1 Saskatchewan Roughriders team in the history of the franchise. What? So we got a lot to mull over with Jim Barker when he comes back. Some NFL topics, obviously CFL. Get them to us. Western Dodge text line 902-518-3033. Be part of the team, everybody. Grab your RP Show merch now at rodpeterson.com. Click on RP Store. Joe Gunnis was with us last hour. He says that the orders are rolling in now. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television, streaming 1700 AM Mission Radio.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Hour 2 brought to you by Golden Ticket Sports Center, Moose Jaw, the place to be for sports enthusiasts and fitness lovers alike. Visit us today, GoldenTicketSportsCenter.com. Jim Barker joins us with a heck of a lot of things to talk about, Coach. How does the world find you on this Friday?
Fantastic. Your news about Las Vegas is the best. You have to remember about Las Vegas. I know they love the Knights and, they've got the baseball team, but that is a city. And as a part-time resident there, that's a city that just doesn't care as long as you're talking sports and as long as you're talking, because they're ready to go make their bets that night. And the stuff your show's going to fit in fantastic with what they do. So I'm excited for you. I think it's great.
You still got your house there?
I don't have my house. No, when I go, I stay at Holly's.
Oh, gotcha,
I have
gotcha.
two daughters, grandkids there, so I go quite often.
It's a great town. Ken in Mississauga writes in, he says, I looked at the Fox 5 Las Vegas Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network website. That's exciting that you will be there. We will, beginning Monday, September 29th. Okay, Coach, football related. We'll start with the CFL. Where do you want to start there?
Well, we can start with last night and kind of put that to bed. It's just anytime you're playing a fourth-string quarterback, it's going to turn into an ugly game. And, James Morgan, and for all of how he looks good when he stands in the pocket and throws, he still takes too long to get rid of the ball. You can only do so much with a guy that hasn't played that much. And they beat him with two receivers that they lost in the first half. They got a quarterback playing wide receiver. And again, they had Zach, who he'll find a way, and Brady Oliveira stepped up. So, again, is it great Winnipeg, or is it, wow, that was really, really tough for Montreal going through that game? And I thought Winnipeg stayed patient with the run game. And that's what you have to do against Noel Thorpe. You have to stay patient. So, again, not a shock at that game. I mean, I think anytime you've got a starting quarterback who's you're basically your number 4, you're going to struggle, which takes us right into tonight's game. And I take it no further than Cody Fajardo against Dustin Crum. Story. That's it. That to me is the story. I mean, you can talk about all the other things. In Cody Fajardo, you have a Grey Cup winning quarterback. You have a guy who has a marginal team believing that they can win anytime. And on the other side, you've got a quarterback that, he doesn't know. I mean, he plays hard, but he doesn't know, it's hard for him to relay confidence and excitement and things like that when he's just trying to get the snap on time and get the ball out and not take sacks and not turn it over. And so to me, that game goes no farther than Cody against Dustin Crum.
Is it an unfair, nasty, or rhetorical question to ask if the Alouettes regret getting rid of Cody?
You'd never get an honest answer out of that, but I'm sure there's a bit of that, again, you don't know a guy till you coach him. And McLeod, he was 0-7 in Edmonton, but he did some good things, and he took, the Argos won the Grey Cup, his last year there, minus the fourth quarter when we were behind and Chad Kelly came in. But still, I mean, the trade made sense, and you can't, you can't fault them for that. So to regret it, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, I guess. And they're in a, Caleb Evans, they've kept around there for 3 or 4 years, and he plays and he gets hurt. And it's no different this year than it has been for his entire career up here. So at some point you cut your losses. You figure out we got to find guys who, if we get a guy hurt, can step in and play. So I'm sure they are, but they will never admit it. Like Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones will never admit the truth on what. I mean, I'll tell you this: the guy's got more money than anybody, and he can. But for what he did, I mean, what he did is David Mugoletta is a good young agent. He really is. I knew him when he was first starting, and by him basically sending Mugoletta whatever Jerry had talked to, it's like he doesn't need you. We did this deal. And for Jerry to not have that understanding of humanness, of at least acknowledge this guy for what his job is. And maybe he'll make a change here, a change there, and maybe it's not going to be a huge change. He knows that Micah had done this, but for him to come out and embarrass Mugoletta like that was just uncalled for. I guarantee you, he did not say, shove your contract up your ass. He did not say that. What he said was, I believe, because I've been in these negotiations a lot with agents, what he said is, let us go through this, and we'll give you a call back, and we'll negotiate whatever items need to be renegotiated. And Jerry took that as he told us to stick. I mean, I'm sure he didn't even talk to Jerry. He talked to Steven, and Steven probably said, "Oh, they told us to stick it up our ass. They're not gonna sign it," and that's all they get out of it. Instead of understanding this is what this guy's job is, have a little bit of respect for that, and don't, I just thought it's one of those. I haven't really ever really liked Jerry Jones, but now I really despise him. Now I'm going to root for them to lose.
John Ohm writes in from Winnipeg. He says, can we go a day without mentioning Jerry Jones? No, we can't. I'd like to, but we can't. He's in the news cycle for his own reasons. And the one thing, Jim, before we move on, what I've realized over years dealing with a guy like Jerry Jones, deep down, he does know. They won't admit it, but they know. And that's enough for me. That's enough for me that he knows in certain cases.
That means he's just a mean person. That means
he's a narcissist.
Who just is, I mean, that's just flat out. There's some things you just don't do in life. You take somebody and just completely demean them when they have a very good position and their job is worthwhile, whether he thinks so or not. Micah Parsons thinks so. So have enough respect for Micah Parsons to respect the man he's chosen to represent him. And I can guarantee it, exactly what I said happened, because I've been through it with, like, I don't believe it's right to ever talk contract with a player if he's got an agent. If he has an agent, you only talk contract with the agent. That is what is normal. Now, I get you when you're Jerry Jones and you got more money, you can do anything you want. But if you're going to do that, keep your mouth shut about what goes on. I just, like I say, I lost all respect for him. And to me, it's the whole thing is sad.
Well, you're not a Cowboys fan, are you?
Well, I used to like the Cowboys. I mean, I like who they were and Roger Staubach and everything good about.
That was before
America.
Jerry. Yeah, that was before Jerry.
Jimmy Johnson, right? It started when he fired Jimmy Johnson after he won. Because he couldn't handle having Jimmy Johnson in there, who was going to win, and now they haven't won since then. And again, but he's a lot like the president over there. He doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter to him. He's going to do what he's going to do, and that's the way it goes.
Hard guy to work for. Well, I guess our poll question today is, have you watched the Cowboys documentary on Netflix? Everybody's talking about it right now, America's Team. I'm guessing you haven't.
Absolutely not.
And you should. You won't?
I won't. I just,
okay.
Like I say, I despise this guy now. And everything he says in there, I would look at it and just say, it's a lie. It's a manipulation. It's just, I mean, I can't even imagine being Brian Schottenheimer and trying to deal with your locker room. And Micah Parsons he's a guy who's going to stand up and he's going to protect his guy. And this thing can blow up on him like none other has, because he took it public and basically embarrassed a man. And when you embarrass that man, you're also embarrassing that player. And when you embarrass a player, you embarrass the locker room. And it could. I'm telling you, I believe this one could be a big problem for Jerry. He's already offered him more money than he probably wanted to, and he said no. So they're going to let him squirm a bit, and as he should. And I love watching somebody stand up to a guy like that.
So do I.
Enough
but
off my
usually
soapbox. But I'm not
doesn't
watching
even,
Jerry Jones. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, just again, we as Cowboys fans are used to it. We haven't even kicked off the damn season yet, and all this has gone on. I feel like the season's been going for 6 months, and we haven't even played a game. Back to the CFL for a second. It was voted Canada's game of the week. Riders at Stampeders on Saturday. That should be a doozy.
Without a question. It's the game of the year. The Riders lost one game this year, and I don't know if you remember, but if you go back to your show that week, they got out physical. And I said that after that game, they got out physical, and I promise you, Corey Mace will not let that happen again. And from that point on, they have out physicaled every team. They have beat the hell out of them. And they've just been too physical. They were too physical for Hamilton. Hamilton could not handle, what they bring. This game, Calgary beat them physically. If Calgary can hang with them physically, last time I saw this was when BC beat Winnipeg physically in BC, and then they went to Winnipeg, and Winnipeg annihilated them. I don't know if you remember that, but I think that was last year. But how a team answers physically, people are forgetting that football is still a physical game. That's what wins and loses games. The Argos, you can say Arbuckle is this or that or what. Bottom line is they're last in the league in running the ball, under 50 yards a game, and they're last in the league in stopping the run. When you can't run the ball and you can't stop the run, you're not a physical football team. And that's exactly what's happening. And it affects the passing game, because now your pass rush is not what it should be. Your pass protection is softer than it should be. You just have all kinds of problems. So can Calgary physically hold up and beat Saskatchewan again? They're coming off a bye. They should have, Saskatchewan's coming off a big game. Nobody's talked about that. They're coming off a big game they had against Hamilton, two top teams. They expended a lot in that game, but they physically beat the hell out of them. If they turn around and beat the hell out of Calgary, coming off of a bye week, and they physically beat them the way that they win the way that they've been winning, they are going to be the team to beat the rest of the way. There's no doubt about it. When I was in Montreal, we went in to Montreal, into BC 9-0, and got beat, but we ended up going on and winning the Grey Cup because we were a physical football team, and on both sides of the ball. And again, if they can win this game in Calgary and out physical the Stampeders, that's the one thing that the Stampeders have done this year, is they've become more physical. They're always good on the offensive line. And again, with Vernon Adams, he adds a dimension to their game. You put Vernon Adams against Trevor Harris, that's a toss-up. I mean, you can't look at a quarterback and say, well, I'm going to take him because of Trevor, or I'm going to take them because of Vernon. You can't do that in this game, because it comes down to the fronts. And that defensive front of Saskatchewan, Shane Ray has come in and stayed healthy, and he's one of the best players in the league. There's no question in my mind. He's just brought a lot to that defensive front. Rose is good. Sanders is good. I mean, they got some Carney's playing well. They got some boppers up front, and it's helping Shamir Thurman play. Revis behind it. So they're a physical football team, and I love that about them. But to me, that's what this game on Saturday night's all about. Is physicality. Can Calgary take it to them physically?
The only game we haven't talked about is the Brayley Bowl. It'll always be the Brayley Bowl to me. BC Lions at the Toronto Argonauts. That'd be a doozy too. Well, maybe not. But the Lions are getting really hot.
Yeah, the Lions are playing well. Nathan Rourke's playing as well as any quarterback in the league right now. Again, like I said, I wouldn't play a team that's last in the league in rushing and last in the league in stopping the run. To me, that's the when you're bad in both of those, you're basically just not a physical football team or not playing physical. I don't know whether they have physical players that just aren't playing hard or whatever, but I could never take that kind of team. I think the crowd's going to be great. It's C&E going on. You can't get right around where I live, 5-minute walk from there, and it's just it's a zoo. There's all kinds of people, like you say, Blue Rodeo. It's going to be a great night. There'll be a great crowd. They'll open the upper deck. It's going to be they'll have the team. They'll have the crowd behind them, but Nathan Rourke is playing very well, and the BC Lions are trying to find their way. And I would take the BC Lions. And again, I don't think they're very physical either, but they're playing a team that's less than they are.
The fans want a Stamps Riders prediction. They can't let you go without that.
A Stamps Riders?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna take the Riders. I just think they've been too physically dominant. So even though Calgary's coming off a bye, I'm going to take the Riders, and it's going to be a great game though. Real quick though, do I have time? Taylor Elgersma?
Please do.
Okay, he's been with 3 CFL teams for training camp. The CIS or U Sports does a great thing. Quarterbacks can go to a CFL camp. Elgersma was one of the few guys that would go to these camps, and he actually stayed through the entire camp. They don't get a lot of reps, but that's why Mike Miller knows how smart the kid is, and he's an NFL type of guy. Now I watched him in the game the other night, and they had more penalties, illegal procedure, all kinds of things, and that's problems with cadence and problems rookies have. Throws the ball very well, but throws it late. He's up against Sean Clifford from Penn State. I mean, 1 and 2 are set. With Malik Willis will be the 2, and Jordan Love will be the 1. But it's a battle between him and Clifford to be the 3. And I think because of his stature, he's 6'6", and when you meet him, you say this guy's a pro quarterback. I mean, there's very few people you meet and they look like. I met Drake May for the first time when he was in high school, and it was like I knew I met a guy who's going to be an NFL quarterback. That's Taylor Elgersma. He's got that same look about him. I think they might keep him around on a practice roster, and if nobody takes him, which somebody might, because he's a pro-style guy. He just got to, get rid of the ball better, get faster, and it's a different game down there. The holes in the windows are smaller, and they close faster, and that's hard because he's used to the Canadian field and, where it's all about timing. It's not as much about timing down there as it is about arm strength and accuracy. So, again, I thought he looked pretty good. Not great, but he looked pretty good. And he's in a battle with Sean Clifford, and he could become the 3. And I think that's great for U Sports, but that's great for the CFL because they're helping to develop quarterbacks. CFL takes a lot of heat for not developing. They basically put their money on the table and have helped develop Taylor Elgersma.
Just do a Google search on Taylor Elgersma, and there's an unbelievable story on that. Mike Miller says he has Kurt Warner-level intelligence. Jim, we're out of time. Thanks for this. Enjoy the games.
Very good. Thanks.
We'll be right back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody, on a Football Friday. Hasn't it been great? 902-518-3033 is the number to reach us on the Western Dodge text line. Looking to trade up? Western Dodge makes it easy with top dollar trade-ins and unbeatable deals. If we had time with Jim Barker, and let's be honest, when we did the 2 hours at Western Dodge that day a few weeks back, people were like, oh, Rod, you and Jim need your own show. Yeah, we probably do. Or at the very least, Jim needs more time, because I would have liked to have asked him something here about Bill Belichick. And I have in the past, like I said, I think it was one of the recent interviews, I said, how do you think he'll do? They're not going to make it to a bowl game or anything like that at North Carolina. But here was another news item. I went to profootballtalk.com this morning. What's there? All about Jerry Jones and what Coach Barker was saying earlier, how he disrespected Micah Parsons' agent. And Micah's like, I'm out. I'm not playing for him ever again. And Jim goes, he admires people that stands up to guys like Jerry Jones. Yeah, so do I. But I've tried it. Doesn't usually end well. But back to they're the guy in charge. The guy in charge always wins. Boom. But anyways, another story at profootballtalk.com was about Bill Belichick, and I guess he took a backhanded shot at Robert Kraft and his son, which I think his name is Jonathan Kraft with the Patriots, in the Boston, it was either the Boston Herald or the Boston Globe, because Belichick's always going to be interviewed in Boston, forever. And the reporter said, how do you like college football, Bill? Sounds a lot like things that I've said. Well, it's great because we don't have an owner, and we don't have an owner's son, and we don't have all these different levels from the top of the organization down to the football operations. And he said, when I started in New England, we didn't have all these levels, and we did a lot of winning. And by the end, there was I wrote it down here, less people in the way was Belichick's quote. And that's what he's saying about college football. He's running the whole show at North Carolina with his buddy Mike Lombardi as the general manager, Chris Jones as a defensive assistant or whatever the hell they're calling Jones. Whether they win or not, I don't know, but it's fascinating as hell. And it's not a Rudy Poo program like Jim Barker was just saying, talking about Drake May. I was looking up Drake May last night. North Carolina kid, North Carolina high school player, played at UNC. He was a number 3 overall pick by the Patriots. Like that's a reputable school. And I get what Belichick's saying, but the thing is, he's never going to work in the NFL again. It's similar to this show in our big news today that we dropped. The RP show beginning Monday, September 29th. Hour 2 of the program is going to air on Fox 5 Las Vegas sports feed. I will have to get the exact terminology of that from you, producer Corey, after the show. Corey did the deal. He's close with those guys in Las Vegas. He runs other programming there, right, Corey? On that channel. This is how this all came about. But the fact is this. The way radio and television used to be was like this. Now, the RP show, quite frankly, is 3 guys. Producer Corey, Joe, and me. So when Corey came to us and said, how would you guys feel about being on Fox 5 Las Vegas sports feed? It's a hell yeah. As opposed to my last few years in the broadcasting mainstream business, which I guess and by the way, kudos to Game Plus for allowing this because they could have shut it down if they'd wanted to. So thank you, Chad, and all the overlords at Anthem Sports and Entertainment in Game Plus in Toronto. But we didn't have to go to an assistant program director who says, I'll run it up the chain, who takes it to the PD, who says, I got to take it up to the owner's kid, and then I got to take it to the owner. None of that here. So I know exactly what Belichick's saying. I know exactly what it is. And for that, I don't really like Bill Belichick from everything I've heard, but I also understand the guy. I don't think he is a bad guy. But Tom Brady would feel a little differently. And if I had to choose between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, I'd choose Tom. And back to that Cowboys thing. Everybody's picking Jimmy Johnson's side in the Jimmy Johnson versus Jerry Jones documentary. And Coach Barker, you should watch it. Everybody should watch it. But you're going to end up picking a side between those two, Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson. And I'll take Jimmy's too. Jimmy's been really good to me. Been to his place many times in Key Largo. Jerry Jones never invited me anywhere. 902-518-3033. We will get to that sports update when we come back. Any of your comments on today's program are welcome when we return on for overtime right after this on Game Plus and Mission Radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Welcome back, everybody, for Overtime. 4 Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where their memberships are now BOGO for a limited time. $99 unlimited lane time monthly, or $999 for the whole year. It's not as much fun going alone, but right now you can buy 2 for 1. Buy one, get one at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Tell them the RP Show sent you. And we're going to get real for a second here. Not that we haven't been for 2 hours, but we're going to get more real here. But just on the football talk on this Football Friday, B-Mans writes in and he says, while the BC Lions are trending, I can't consider them a contender until they beat a Winnipeg, Calgary, or Sask. Totally fine. Air Corps watching in BC says, Taylor Elgersma would be a great replacement for Caleros in a few years. Yeah, and the Bombers drafted him, right? So maybe he will be. Paul Jefferson watching in Humboldt says Mitch Marner and the RP Show in Vegas. Wow. Oh, yeah, it's a really big deal. And on this Jerry Jones stuff and standing up to the guy in charge, Rich in Edmonton writes in, he says, the guy in charge always wins, but sometimes it's best to stick to your moral guns. Well, this is where I say, we're going to get real, because the guy in charge, for years and years, I'm not going to name the teams, I'm not going to name the people, but I worked for guys like Jerry Jones and did things that I knew were wrong. But I had a wife, I had a baby, I had a mortgage, I had a car payment. What am I going to do? And did it for a long time. There wasn't a lot of things that were. But then later on in my career, when the kids were grown and I didn't have those things, and I got called into an office and told to do something that I knew was wrong and I knew was illegal, I said, I want to do it. And the guy goes, I don't think you understand. If you don't do this, you'll be replaced. And I took my key fob off my belt, put it on the desk, and I said, take your effing job. I don't want it. Because I won't lie to these people. And if you fire me for this, I'll tell every one of them why. I kept my job that day, but it also started the clock ticking. It started the clock ticking. So that's all that I'm saying. Like, Jim Barker did not hide his disdain for Jerry Jones there earlier. Like he said, he doesn't even have the term he was searching for was decency. Jerry Jones didn't even have the human decency and how to act. Like, I couldn't work for Jerry Jones. I've worked for guys like that. Won't. And not every team's like that, by the way. That's the one thing. That's why with the Florida Panthers, I can't wait to get back to Florida next month. From the second this will be the 5th season that I've been working with them. Why do you think they've been in 3 straight Stanley Cups, won the last 2? They don't run like that at all. I'm friends with most everybody in the organization, and the ones that I'm not, I just haven't met yet. It's not every team is like that. John says, what a story, Rod. Wowzers. I guess. Rich says, great stuff, Rod. Sticking it to the man. Did I? Because I ended up being fired anyways. Now I'm sitting here talking to you. So, hey, it was a relief, and it was time to go. I'm just saying, when I see these things, when I see Jerry Jones gnashing his teeth at the reporters for asking questions that are simply their job and him threatening to fire them, I'm like I get triggered in a lot of these episodes of this Cowboys documentary, or watching news coverage of Donald Trump, to be honest, when he had the Ukraine president in there and the way him and J.D. Vance turned on that guy, the president of the Ukraine. I'm like, I've been in those shoes. You're not holding the cards here. Tony in Cochrane, Alberta says, go Surge and Stampeders. Going to be an awesome Calgary weekend. Mark in Melfort says, have a great weekend, Rod. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, but Rod, you're loving it, right? I am every day when I get out of bed. I can't wait to get on here and get on the air and talk to you and work with Corey and work with Joe, because they're great people. That's really all I want at this stage of my life, is to have fun and work with good guys, and we got it. And I'll say it again with Moose. Oh, my God, is he all horny about this? It's Darren's story to tell, but he has accepted a job in broadcasting, which will limit his availability to this program, but he still wants to stay on. And now that he knows the show will be airing in Las Vegas daily, he really wants to stay on. So that's what it comes down to, some changes that are coming up. They're very exciting changes that as we move forth and unroll it, you'll be excited to see it. We're still formulating them. Ron in Calgary says, hey, Rod, tomorrow's game, Riders versus Stamps, could we see over 600 yards passing in the game? Probably. Passing's at an all-time high. That's not that much. That's 300 per quarterback. Laverne in Swift Current says, the RP show is getting foxy. Bring it on. Oh, I know. It's a pretty big deal. And I thank Corey for all of this. And I like the fact that me, him, and Joe could come together real fast on agreeing on how to make this happen. So, John Ohm says, congratulations, Moose. Write him on Facebook. Okay, he ain't watching now. Moose not here. He's working at the Canada Games. Again, it's his story to tell, but he doesn't really want to give up this show either. We don't want to give up, Moose. It's funny because Scruffy texted me last week. He's like, rumors going around, you guys severed ties with DuPont. I said, take your rumors and stuff them. I said, you're not going anywhere. Severed ties with Darren, but it's an opportunity for him in the broadcasting field that he couldn't turn down, and we're all excited for him. It's going to be a great opportunity. So, yeah, you're right, everybody who's written in and said that this has been a great couple hours. Rich says, like I said, I come for the sports talk, but stay for Rod's life lessons. Again, I'm not sure I'd do it again, but here we are. Everybody, have a great week, and we'll see you Monday here on Game Plus Television.
Now I'm the whore and the pimp. That's where the money is.
How about that?